All right, guys, look, we're faced with an epidemic here. I'm not talking about the coronavirus. I'm not talking about the war that's going on. I'm talking about the issue that plagues every community, regardless of their skin color, regardless of their religion, regardless of their blood type. And I'm talking about divorce rates. 50% of all marriages are ending up in divorce. What I want to do today is share with you 3 business principles that not only works in the business setting, but can also work in your relationship. 3 business principles that can also work in your relationship if you apply it. Coming up next. All right, guys, so 3 business principles that every relationship needs. Number 1, values. Values is a big one. When you think about values, a lot of the times relationship fails is because lack of commitment, right? Now, when you think of commitment, what you think of? Someone that is relentless to do something, irregardless what the weather is, or irregardless what the circumstances is. When you think of a kid that, wants to get on that tablet, they're committed to get on that. So they're going to ask you 100 times, Mom, Dad, can I get the tablet? Can I get the phone? They're committed to it because that's what they value, right? When you're thinking about someone who has a favorite restaurant, favorite Italian restaurant, you don't have to ask them, have you gone to that restaurant this month or whatever the case might be, because they value that restaurant. They value the garlic bread at this restaurant, right? So when you think of commitment, when you think of values, think about where people put their values right now. Think about the person that values a slim waist and a big behind over an IQ. Or think about a person who values someone that gets to the cash fast, but spends the cash even faster. And now you have some financial issues, right? So we have to learn how to put our values into something that is more meaningful. We have to learn how to value one another, right? You have to learn how to value the person that actually cooks for you. You have to learn how to value a person that provides, right? You have to learn how to value that person that prays for you, right? So values is definitely number 1. Number 2, when you're thinking about commitment, we're going to stay on that word. We're going to stay on commitment because that's an issue that we have. Number 2 is culture. Culture is a business principle that also can be translated into relationship. Culture is a big one, man. I don't know if you guys ever worked a job where you hated the job, you hated everybody in the job, you hated everybody around the job, you hated the roads that you had to take to get to that job, right? Because culture makes a difference, man. Like, if the people at your job was cool, that might be a little different, man. But if you dislike your work and the people at your job, that makes it really difficult to deal with, man. And translate that into relationships. I know some people has been in a relationship where they're ducking and dodging going home, right? You going on a lot of work meetings, right? You going to the bar, you're hanging out with the fellas, or when you do get home, you're in the driveway, you're just sitting there, right? And you're just wondering how you're gonna deal with that other person on the other side, right? When you think of culture, culture has to be a place that is home. You don't want to be avoiding coming home. Home should be your place of peace. Home should be your place of serenity, right? And all the principles that I'm going to list here, all this can be changed, man. And when you think of culture, and if you so happen to be in a culture that isn't conducive to a healthy relationship, why don't you try to be the change? Try to be the change to get a healthy culture, right? So start doing those little things, man. Start doing those little things that matters. You know, as I talk about culture, it reminds me of the owner of Chick-fil-A, right? He spoke about how he visited the Ritz-Carlton and what he found that they was doing at the Ritz-Carlton, he wanted to implement also at his Chick-fil-A corporate stores as well as the franchise stores, right? And it was a little subtle my pleasure. If anybody has ever gone to Chick-fil-A, you always heard them at the end of each transaction say, my pleasure. Now, the owner of Chick-fil-A fought for 10 years. He fought for 10 years to try to get everyone on the same page, everyone on the same culture, doing the same thing where it's a uniform culture at Chick-fil-A for everyone to say, my pleasure. It's the little things that matters in a culture, right? It's perhaps maybe someone just folding your clothes, right? That's just a little gesture of, hey, look, I'm looking out for you because I care. So be that change that you want to see if perhaps your culture isn't the place you want to be. And the last business principle that I feel like translate very well with relationships is number 3. Working to achieve a goal together. Now, when I think of working to achieve a goal together, I think of The Good Book, right? And I think of our original design. If you guys haven't already, please check out my last video on determining your gift, right? But I think of our original purpose, right? And according to what The Good Book says, man was placed on this earth first, and then God seen that man was better served with a companion, better served with a woman, right? And I believe that God created the woman for man, right? And when you think of a relationship that lasted 40, 50, 60 years, you think of a couple that understood their assignment, right? You think of perhaps the roles, a lot of times the roles back then was the man went to work, right? Provided for the family financially, and the woman stayed home, took care of the kids, took care of the household needs, right? They understood their assignment and what they bring to the table. And I believe, it's harder to give up when you are working towards a common goal, right? When you are working towards building up your family, raising up the kids, or perhaps maybe you're a couple that started a business and you guys are, doing well for yourselves. You guys are known as being that successful couple or that fit couple, right? The couple that everyone envies, right? It's harder to give up when you're working towards something. And what's also beautiful about that, couples that does things together, is not only do you work towards a common goal, which I believe is the assignment, right? That's what we are assigned to do. It says in a good book also, a man that findeth a wife findeth a good thing, right? Because a man findeth a companion, a man findeth a person that can help him with his journey and his dream. And it's 2022, so maybe the woman could be that person that's also living out her dream, her business, and the man is helping her. I don't see anything wrong with that. We are here to be in a relationship and help one another out. So I don't see nothing wrong with it. But there's nothing more beautiful than that, than a couple that is working towards something, right? And it won't be as easy to give up, man. So these are 3 business principles that I really hope that you can implement in your relationship, and to perhaps take you to that next level and propel you into more of a healthier, happier relationship. This is Daryl James, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.